What is a supply chain? Well, you're including the flow of products and services, not just things, but there's services, and it could go in both directions, because we have sometimes products that have to move back into in the opposite direction, and there's information flows and finance and so on. So you have manufacturers of raw materials through intermediate products, end products, wholesalers and distributors, and retailers. I'd like to start now with a video, and it's one of my favorite videos. It's put out by a man by the name of Joel Barker.
It's so easy to say no to a new idea. After all, new ideas cause change. They create uncertainty. And it's a lot less bother to do it the way we've always done it before. New ideas are resisted from boardrooms to shop floors all across the globe. I could fill this museum with examples. I'm Joel Barker, and I'm a futurist. For the past 2 decades, I've been working with corporations, institutions, and governments all over the world, helping them to anticipate revolutionary change. I've been studying why people resist new ideas, and I've found a common pattern of resistance that has existed not just for decades, but for centuries. I first ran into the word paradigm in Thomas Kuhn's book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. When you look up paradigm in the dictionary, you find it means pattern or model. Let me offer you an extended definition. A paradigm is a system of rules and regulations that does 2 things. First, some of the rules set limits or establish boundaries, just like a pattern sets the edges. Then the rest of the rules offer you guidance on how to be successful by solving problems that exist inside those boundaries. In a sense, they offer you a model for problem solving. So a paradigm is a problem-solving system, and a paradigm shift is when you change from one set of rules to another. I brought you to Hennepin Technical College in Eden Prairie, Minnesota to show you another paradigm. This one has to do with automobiles. In 1976, during America's energy crisis, a group of students taught by Ernie Parker decided to build an energy-efficient car. Let me give you the numbers. The car weighed 2,000 pounds. It went 0 to 60 in less than 10 seconds. It got 77 miles per gallon, had a 16-horsepower engine. Today, 77 miles per gallon would be considered wonderful. You can imagine what that meant in 1976. But there's a catch. Anyone who knows anything about cars knows that those numbers don't add up. A 16-horsepower engine simply cannot accelerate a 2,000-pound car that quickly. Yet these students did exactly that. How? By utilizing a different paradigm. You see, the students weren't in an auto mechanics class. They were right here in the advanced hydraulics class, and they knew using their paradigm that they could capture and reuse energy ordinary cars waste. Let me show you how with this simple prototype. When this vehicle slows down, it doesn't use standard brakes. Instead, the front wheel turns a hydraulic motor pump, and it pumps hydraulic fluid into this storage cylinder, capturing otherwise wasted energy while slowing down the vehicle. When this vehicle is stopped, its gas engine turns a pump that puts even more fluid into the cylinder. All that pressure is stored energy waiting to be used. Watch. I can accelerate without even starting the engine. So the acceleration comes not from the little gas engine, but all that pressure that's been stored in the cylinder. The job of the little engine is to hold the vehicle at speed, and it can do that getting more than 70 miles per gallon. So here's a question for you. If the students who designed that car had been in auto mechanics, do you think they could have even conceived it? I think the answer is no, because the piston engine paradigm does not provide for waste energy capture and storage. Now, I'm not suggesting this vehicle is the next automotive paradigm, but it does demonstrate a powerful principle. What may be impossible to do with the old paradigm may be easy to do with the new paradigm. Sometimes people get overwhelmed by the future. They look forward and think, how can we cope with all this change? The answer to that question can be found by looking back to our great-grandparents. In many ways, they dealt with changes at least as profound as what we're involved in right now. You must remember that in 1900, radio would still have been considered magic. Think about it, inaudible voices traveling through the air. In the space of 20 years, Henry Ford built his first automobile. Thomas Edison invented the movie camera. Madame Curie discovered X-rays. The Wright brothers proved the experts wrong and created heavier-than-air flight. The electron was discovered. The cause of malaria was identified. And a man named Albert Einstein proved that E equals mc squared, and the atomic age was conceived. The paradigms of our ancestors were forever altered during this time. And you know what? In spite of all that change, they did just fine. We wouldn't be here if they hadn't. You see, no matter how big or difficult the problem, there will always be some way to solve it. Even if one door closes, there will be another door to go through to get to the future. And just like it was for our grandparents, I am positive on the other side of that door awaits more than enough opportunity to keep us happy and busy for a lifetime.
Would anybody like to volunteer a viewpoint? Please don't be shy, okay?
Okay, I will start since to break the ice. We were talking in our group, and we had one colleague is from a courier company that is delivering packages, and the other colleague is from food. And we have seen that an important paradigm, and it's strictly related to logistics, is the idea of outsourcing. 3-4 years ago, at least in Romania, logistic providers or the idea of outsourcing was not heard of yet, let's say. But that has changed, and a lot of companies right now, even courier companies, prefer to outsource to other companies their activities because that makes it more cost efficient, for example. And that's a recent change that I think affects a lot of the companies here.
Very good one. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Is there another? Yes.
Okay. Well, we work for let's say for Timken, the bearing company, and one of the idea that in Timken work was the SAP P1 implementation in all around the world in all Timken facilities. And I mean, it was not taking into account the fact that some companies were, let's say, in Argentina, in Singapore, in Africa. So they were taken step by step, and P1, SAP P1 was implemented step by step, each 5 waves. And it was not taken, let's say, too great, the idea, because some of them need training. SAP was very expensive, so it started very slow, but now it was implemented in all companies, and it's working pretty well, and it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And the second idea was warehouses that serve globally for each continent. So let's say for Europe, warehouses in France, and for US is in Crossville or Reno, and let's say in Africa it's in Benoni, and some of let's say 5-6 warehouses around the world that serve whole world.
Yeah.
So these 2 new ideas were.
Oh, these are enormous changes. I remember, this is going back about 12 years ago, I had some students in Houston that were telling me about how their company was going through SAP implementation, and they were in their 2nd year and in their 3rd IT manager. But as far as they knew, they were going on faith. Remember in the video, going on faith, they were going from an old paradigm to a new paradigm. And these are some of the things that you have to consider. It is not always easy, and the changes, there'll be tough changes. Well, let's move on to item number 2, the impossible question. what is impossible today in your business or in your company, but if it were possible, it would change in a fundamental way the way you do your business? Who would like to take a stab at that? We're not going to give away big company secrets, okay? But who would like to respond to that one? Volunteers? Have a volunteer over here. You get $100.
Numele meu este Denisa Ciocan și mă ocup cu consultanță în supply chain de puțin timp. Ce am întâlnit în companiile în care am lucrat, atât în cele multinaționale cât și în cele românești, povestea asta cu gândirea funcțională pe funcțiuni. Oamenii încă lucrează pe funcțiuni, iar atâta timp când nu vom înțelege că trebuie să gândim pe flux, respectiv să trecem spre o gândire sistemică, cred că lucrurile în continuare se vor mișca foarte greu. Deci, ca o concluzie, nu mai suntem departamente de sine stătătoare, ci trebuie să acționăm nu e vorba despre echipă, e vorba de a schimba mentalitatea, de a trece de la o gândire funcțională la una sistemică, la una pe flux. Mulțumesc!
But the idea is to go from the segregation, job segregation on functions to, let's say, the segregation based on the workflow, the business needs, the business process in regards to the teams and the members of a team in a company.
Yeah.
It's probably a very good paradigm shift.
That's a big
It's
one.
not an easy one, but yeah, it's important to.
So, giving you an opportunity to come with me through a customer. So Ericsson Manufacturing is an American family-owned company. It's founded, it's old, 1918. They want to grow, they want to double their size of business, but this is not, I mean, I assume that not many of you guys would say that you would imagine this would be a Fortune 1000 company or whatever. It's not. It's a mid-sized American company. So, a little bit about what their situation was. Safety stocks. Anybody run their business based on safety stocks? It happens. Organized chaos was really ruling. Everybody has influence, everybody knew something that would impact what to buy, when to buy, why to buy. Inventory going up and down, not really in balance. Customers, partners, low service level, I mean, you can do that a couple of times, but then they will find somewhere else, right? The reactive approach, because how would they know? I mean, if you don't have information available, you can have your mindset, you want to be proactive, but if you don't have the tooling for being it, you will be reactive anyway. Might not be your fault, but the appearance will be like that. And then the famous Oswald system. It's an American expression, so we had jokes earlier. This is, oh shoot, we out, meaning, oh no, we don't have it, sorry. Nobody knew we didn't have that goods, but well, it's not there, so sorry. Not really what you would like to hear when you're coming to buy something, at least. And obviously this would create a lot of stress and frustration. So, what did they do? What were they thinking? Well, they created a strategic plan. So we're coming back to, I mean, I'm selling software. I would love all of you guys to start by buying my software, but basically you need to decide a bunch of stuff prior to that. So they created the plan. They went internal. We heard that earlier today. They started internally thinking about what kind of company are we? What do we want to be?